Welcome back, Common Man Game Reviews. Today we're looking at AILimit, a newer Souls-like with a pleasing emphasis on cute anime girls and what happens when you eat mud for 3 meals a day. There's nothing here that I would consider a spoiler, although if you want to go in knowing absolutely nothing, there will be some talk about kind of the overarching things that are happening in the world. Let's get into gameplay first. I probably named this video something like AILimit, Baby's First Dark Souls, or AILimit, Mud Madness. Probably something more like the first one. This game looks, sounds, and plays like a Dark Souls game, but it's decidedly part of what I would call the new generation of Dark Souls games. It's pretty fast, and most importantly, it gives you a lot of options on how you would like to play the game. For example, early on you get the ability to parry attacks and open up the enemy for a huge finishing move. Not long after that, you gain the ability to change that parry into a shield, holding it up and blocking damage just like you'd expect. That is one of the greatest things about this game, is the sheer amount of choice that you get when you play it. You should never feel like you're locked into one playstyle, because even though I haven't used some of the options a whole lot, I can tell you that they all seem to cater to a different kind of player. This is undoubtedly designed to be more of a Souls-like introduction. There were only 2 bosses in this entire game that would really challenge a seasoned Souls-like veteran. The hardest one is optional, and the second hardest one is right at the end. To me, this game feels like a game that'll teach you how to play all the Souls-likes you've been too afraid to pick up. If you've never played a game like this because you're constantly reminded about difficulty, this game is the tutorial that'll let you break into the entire genre. Right when you get to the hardest bosses in the game, you'll be ready to play one of the harder ones. It gets just difficult enough to prepare you for what's to come, should you decide to continue. I spent a lot of time running around trying to find all the cute outfits to play dress up with my anime waifu protagonist. It's pretty funny that changing hairstyles gives you armor, but it let me play Fashion Souls, so that's living the dream. A lot of purist complaints I hear about this game is the ability to pause the game during fights and change your spells and gear. This game isn't trying to be the next Sekiro, so I'm going to show some forgiveness for a few player-friendly changes to the formula. Overall, the only negative thing I'm going to say about it is that there are a few areas that rely a bit too heavily on the old-school Dark Souls-style jumping controls. But I can't be too mad about it, because when I think about a game that's designed to prepare you for the genre as a whole, it has to teach you how to use the god-awful jump eventually. Every boss fight here plays out like a sprinting mud-based mukbang just broke out, and the player always comes prepared. 9 out of 10. Controls next. Good controls. Like I said, typical Dark Souls style. You won't find the loose, unconstrained Elden Ring controls here. The jumping mechanics suffer as they do in every other game that controls exactly like this one. It wouldn't even be a bother if there weren't a few times in the game where making decent jumps is a requirement. The camera conformed perfectly to my character as I was locked onto someone. And I had a ton of different gameplay options available to me at any given time that felt absolutely great on controller. Nothing felt difficult to use or out of reach because of the controls. 8 out of 10. Story. You play as a blader named Orisa, essentially a cute mud girl that's pretty good at fighting, but has the decision-making skills of a first-generation Roomba. That's right, I'm pretty sure she's made of mud. The main character is just about as dumb as a box of rocks and sometimes gets herself into messed up situations that the average person would see coming from a mile away. Of course, there's a story reason for being the intellectual and emotional equivalent to a brick wall, but the whole thing never bothered me. The story here is a tale of 3 major factions and 1 bonus one. You've got mutants, bladers, the church, and kind of a bonus hybrid faction resulting from all the times that someone asked and answered the question, what if we just smashed these 2 things together and saw what happened? The main story focuses on the conflicts of all the different factions, teaching you what they're all about, why you should or shouldn't hate them, and then you show up and kill them all indiscriminately. With a few notable exceptions. Humans are here too, of course, but the other factions are so much stronger that humanity is reduced to just breathing meat puppets that everybody else abuses. The side quests are where the game really shines. You'll meet plenty of characters in this game that all have different goals and motivations. Seeing these character quests through to the end rewards you with a knowledge and satisfaction that I don't think you would get just from playing the main story and skipping all the extra stuff. I won't put any spoilers here, but each and every one of the side quests felt worth doing. Sometimes I didn't know why I was doing it, but at the end I was always glad I did it. The way everything comes together at the end of the game wouldn't have landed nearly as well for me if I hadn't had the extra knowledge the side quests gave me. The story gets a perfect 5 out of 5 simply due to the side quests. On to sound design. There are plenty of good songs in the game, but nothing that I would add to my Spotify playlist and listen to forever. They were there in the background and they serve their purpose nicely. But where the sound design shines is in the enemy sounds. Enemies have a lot of sound cues that can clue you into what they are about to do next. There was even one boss that had 2 separate sound cues for 2 opposite abilities that made me feel like the devs actually put a lot of thought into it. The only thing I really felt was missing was the smacking mouth sounds as the protagonist slammed mud balls into her mouth like she's possessed by a Victorian orphan with an iron deficiency. Overall, it was very good. 4 out of 5. Moving on to the how would I fix this game section. I'm going to add a modifier here of -4 points to the total score. I really added it for stuttering and crashing issues. In about the first 13 hours, the crashes were bearable. I didn't lose any progress due to the constant saving, it was just an annoyance. Hours 13 plus were pretty much dreadful. Crashes about every 10 minutes, stuttering on certain boss moves. I almost quit the entire game. After setting my graphics to Steam Deck mode for my final few hours, the game played pretty well. Although the previously beautiful waifus started to look more like they were actually made of mud. -4. Final score, 7 out of 10. That's a B on my scale. Time to beat, 22.2 hours. Overall, I had a great time and it's an excellent introduction to a genre that I love. If you guys could leave a like and a comment and a subscribe and whatever buttons you're used to pressing on videos that are actually good, I would appreciate it. Obviously, I'm a very small channel and even just 1 or 2 comments help me gain the confidence to keep going. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you play this game. Have a good one.